All right, welcome back, guys. Let's go ahead and dive right into the topic of discussion. No need to bullshit or waste time. So, in our last video, or the first video here on Savage Tradesman, we talked about the truth about overtime. And now I want to expand upon this and continue down a similar path. And let's have a conversation about different seasons. Because as we go through this journey, there are going to be seasons when you're supposed to be tired, guys. That's just how it is. People say, "Oh, well, I'm tired. I'm tired." I listen to my kids a lot of times, and they say, "I'm tired," and I get it. It's relative for them and the things that they're dealing with. Yeah, they're tired. They can even be exhausted at times, and I get that. But it's all relative, and there are seasons when we're talking about being an adult where you're just absolutely supposed to be exhausted. And all my folks out there who are parents, especially parents with like toddlers, kids like 5 and under, stuff like that, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You're always tired. And it makes you remember the times when you used to be able to go and just take a nap whenever the hell you felt like it. But anyway, just to stay on track, there are times and seasons when you're supposed to be exhausted because you're building something. So let me give you an example. When I was building an emergency fund, I wasn't chasing balance. I was chasing stability. So I worked the overtime because every extra shift moved my family closer to a goal, a predetermined, preset goal that my wife and I agreed on. Look, hey, we want to pay off this debt. Look, hey, we want to build up an emergency fund. And a lot of you guys are probably familiar with Dave Ramsey. And when people are in debt, he is a big proponent of having a $1,000 emergency fund. And I've done that. I've done that for several years. And I would typically make it to like the end of the year. And then I would end up having to tap into that at some point. And then the next year I would try to rebuild back to that. But that's just a starter emergency fund. So I'm sure you guys have heard the statistic that like a certain percentage of Americans can't afford a $500 emergency or something like that. That's crazy. And you have to break out of that. You have to get past that. You have to provide better than that, better chances than that for your family, especially when we're talking about family. I'm a family man, so if you don't have a family yet, I get it. Then you got a chance to get these things squared away before you begin to take on that additional responsibility. And that's great. So again, there's going to be seasons to grind and there's going to be seasons to harvest. It's just very important that you come to a point where you can recognize which one you're in. And it's not about working crazy hours or a bunch of overtime or anything like that for 50 years or right up until you either die or retire. The goal is to do this while you can, while you're younger, so that you can stack the money up, so that you can bankroll your investments and do all the things that you need to do now so that you can coast later on in life. At least that's the idea behind it. And you still also, I'm a proponent of being able to enjoy your life some too now, because nobody's promised tomorrow. And I think that we can all understand that. And nobody knows when their last day is going to be. So I definitely believe in taking some time, enjoying your life, taking the trip, traveling, spending time with your family. All these things are very important. But you still got to get the money. Regardless of what anybody says, you still got to get money. And you still got shit that you got to do that's going to require you to have money. There's no getting around it. And I just want to leave y'all with this because I'll try to keep this one kind of brief. Purpose-driven sacrifice has a payoff when it's tied to a clear financial goal and victory is defined. So there are going to be sacrifices. You're going to miss a lot of time. And I'm especially talking to the men out there that are listening to this, which is probably going to be the largest portion of my demographic. guys, there's going to be a lot of stuff that you're going to miss. I missed a lot of birthdays. I've missed Christmas before, Thanksgiving, all these different holidays, Father's Day. This past Father's Day, I was on call, Mother's Day, my wife's birthday. It doesn't matter. You're going to have to do what you got to do. And the sacrifices that you make will definitely pay off if you stay the course and you are smart and you understand how to manage your resources. That's the big thing, because you could go out here and make $500,000 a year, but if you don't know how to manage your finances appropriately, then it ain't going to make a shit. It's not going to matter. You're going to spend every dime of it and then some. You're going to finance this. You're going to borrow on that, and you're still going to be up shit creek before you know it. So it's not necessarily about how much you earn, although that is important. That is a factor for sure. But it's about how you manage what you earn. And if you can manage what you earn appropriately, then you're probably going to be in a better position than maybe even somebody who necessarily earns a lot more, but just blows through all their money and spends every penny that they take in, doesn't save for retirement, doesn't invest, doesn't do anything like that, and is carrying a whole lot of consumer debt and stuff of that nature. So it's all about having a plan and executing it, guys. I appreciate you being here. If you like this kind of content, stick around because there will be more to come. Hit the buttons. We'll talk soon.